This is a series of videos in which Philip Maris interviews Dr. John Ricketts, the author of the book Exceeding the Goal: Adventures in Strategy, Information Technology, Computer Software, Technical Services, and Goldratt's Theory of Constraints. The theory of constraints, or constraint management, was born in manufacturing, and therefore initially constraints were always physical things like machines or people. Is this still the case in information technology?
The constraint management rule of thumb that says constraints should be physical is appropriate when physical things are being produced, such as when widgets are coming off an assembly line. It's also appropriate when widgets are being distributed to a marketplace. And it's appropriate when the things doing production are physical, such as machine operators in a factory or developers on a software project. However, when a product or service or asset isn't physical, the constraint itself may not be physical. For example, consider banks. Where's the constraint in a bank? Is it the tellers or the loan officers? Is it the vault or the currency counting machine or the check processing machine or the ATM or the credit card processing? No, a bank's constraint is money, 90% of which is digital asset, because only 10% of money is in currency or checks. Regardless of its form, however, a bank only grows when it has more money to lend. That's an internal constraint. But a bank might instead have an external constraint if it can find enough customers willing to borrow money at prevailing rates. Banks do adjust their interest rates and fees to balance these internal and external constraints. Furthermore, banks may have to, indeed usually do have to, abide by regulations on things like capital reserves. But that's an externally imposed limit, not a constraint. Also, consider cryptocurrency. Where is the constraint in cryptocurrency? If you're a crypto miner, your internal constraint is high-performance computers, that is servers, which are physical. Servers constrain the amount of cryptocurrency that can be mined in a given period of time. But if you're a crypto trader, we're back to talking about a digital asset. And except for distributed record keeping about trades on a blockchain, servers become irrelevant to trades. Once mined, cryptocurrency is a digital asset, and the owner's external constraint is finding others willing to trade goods and services for cryptocurrency. Otherwise, cryptocurrency has no intrinsic value. Money is both a medium of exchange and a store of value. Opinions vary on whether cryptocurrency will prove to be a store of value in the long run. As a third example of a non-physical constraint, consider businesses that provide streaming videos or streaming music. They have an external constraint in the market that limits their revenue growth, number of subscribers. They may also have an internal constraint in operations that limits their revenue growth, content and its distribution. Subscribers are physical, but video and music content is not. Streaming videos and streaming music are digital assets. Businesses in these markets must spend enough on content and its distribution to retain current subscribers and attract new subscribers, but their finite budget forces choices about content and pricing. That's constraint management of a digital asset. As a final example, consider time. It's neither physical nor digital. When a non-negotiable deadline looms and there's no shortage of resources, time management dictates productivity. Better time management is then the route to performance improvement. That's what project management application does, and we'll get to that in a later video. In summary, when the assets at the foundation of an entire industry are not physical, or when an organization has plenty of resources but not enough time, you have to consider the possibility that the enterprise constraint is not physical.
Okay, John, now that we've got an idea about the nature of constraints in information technology, let's have a look at some other stuff.